USGN, your #1 source for sports, presents the USGF Single Elimination Championships. Lake Tahoe, Nevada, one of the most
an up-and-comer, but Beth is a seasoned veteran, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Alrighty, I'm just as curious as you are. We have 6 events for the men, 4 for the women, and of course the winner of this event goes to the final competition. We'll be back with our first event. Don't go away. To begin, it is the men's floor exercise. It will be Phil Cahoy against Billy Paul. Here's how Billy Paul advanced. He defeated Keith Avery in the quarterfinals, and Phil Cahoy defeated Matt Arnott in the quarterfinals. So now it'll be Billy Paul against Phil Cahoy, and of course the winner of this competition will advance to the finals. You are looking at Phil Cahoy. He has just been given the go-ahead by the judges to begin his routine. Mike?
Leandra, this is an important routine for Phil because it starts the ball rolling. Mounts at a pike double back, very nice. A little step forward, but not a severe deduction, maybe a 1/10 or so. Comes back, front step out, round off, full and a half twist to a step out handspring. Very nice and an original part. Phil's the only person I know that does that particular skill. Handspring, full twist dive roll. Lowering down into a splits, showing good suppleness and flexibility. Here's an interesting and unique part, a V-sit right on his fingertips, pressed to a handstand, fulfilling the combination requirement, also showing a balance and a hold skill. Phil will now be preparing for his dismount. Round off flip-flop, tuck double back somersault. Good exercise, Leandra. A couple of jumps forward on both double backs, slightly under-rotated, and probably you're looking at a total of maybe 2 to 3/10 deductions for those jumps.
Phil took quite a hesitation going into this tumbling pass. First, let's talk about the tumbling pass.
There's a round off to turn him around, a back handspring. This is the tuck double back. Pulling it in, he looked like he was in good shape, but he didn't quite pull his feet underneath him enough. Shoulders were a little bit in front and caused him to fall forward. Now here's the V-sit, showing good strength, good flexibility. Right on the fingertips, pulls his legs between his hands. Legs straight, toes pointed, as they are supposed to be. Up to the handstand.
How much time is he allowed to have before he continues into his tumbling pass? There, as you see, a score 9.5. Is he allowed to hesitate for a specific amount of time in a corner? Does he have time to complete this routine in?
The time limit normally is 50 to 70 seconds. They are normal, most competitions they don't time, but at the same time, there should be no hesitations during the exercise.
What are you doing?
All right, this is Billy Paul.
That shot my
about
paw.
to begin his routine. 70 seconds, he says, is the approximate.
Right. Mounts around a flip-flop. Full twisting double back. Very difficult skill, commonly seen used off the horizontal bar or the rings. Bill does it on the floor. That's an Arabian 1 and 3. Half twist to a front 1 3/4 somersault, and you do a roll out of it. Showing splits into a press handstand, fulfilling those requirements. Back extension roll up toward a handstand. Coming back, front step out, round off flip flop, double twisting back somersault. He'll now be preparing for his dismount. There's a scale, shows flexibility, balance and hold part to fulfill those requirements. Coming back, round off flip flop, pike double back. Very difficult dismount, just a little bit over rotated, causing him to step back. But it's a very difficult dismount because it's hard to stick because of the pike position. It's difficult to see. Let's watch this first tumbling pass. Round off flip-flop, full twist on the first somersault, pulls his legs around, trying to keep him in nice and tight, double back somersault with a full twist, slightly over-rotate, just almost went out of the area, but I think he maintained the boundaries and he was okay.
Here's a blind reversal.
Right. Round off, flip-flop, pike double back somersault. It's very hard to see. It's just very quick. Little over-rotated step back, but a good dismount.
You're saying it's hard to see because in a tuck double back, their knees are bent and their eyes obviously can see above their knees, but with their legs straight, you can't. Of course, 9.6, nice score, so Billy Paul breaks out into an early lead, a small lead, but a lead nonetheless. We'll be back with more competition, 5 events left for the men, and we still have all 4 events for the women. Men's vaulting. Juliann Brumbaugh advanced, as did Beth Pope from the quarterfinals. Pope by defeating Nicole Kushner, and Juliann Brumbaugh defeated Chris Montero. So now it is Brumbaugh against Pope, and of course one of them will survive for the finals. Now let's take a look at Juliann Brumbaugh's best vault, her first one.
Here she is coming off the board. Good hard push, layout body on her Sukahara, pulling it around at a pike position, a little bit of a low landing, jumps right up there. Nice, very nice vault for Juliann.
9.25 was the score she received for that performance. Now this is Beth Pope executing the better of her 2 vaults, the first one.
Good hard push, layout Sukahara, good straight body, lands nice and high, 1 step back. Very nice vault for Beth Pope.
Score there, 0.25. Now her coach is Bella Caroli, and he told and he told us a little bit about her competition.
Okay, really good now. Go easy back. Easy back and think about, okay, relax and think about, you need to speed up. It is not enough fast now, okay? You need to speed up and hit hop there, how you can, okay? And taking off over there, and go and think about, okay? You concentrate that. Come on, Beth.
Bella Caroli, the former coach of Nadia Comaneci, now advising Beth Pope. We're ready now for the pommel horse. Phil Cahoy, Billy Paul. You'll recall that Billy Paul outscored Cahoy on the floor exercise by 1/10 of 1 point, but these 2 competitors are still very close.
This is a great event for Phil Leandra. Be anxious to see how he does here. Backboard work, a pommel Russian at the beginning, back to the center. Travels on 1 pommel all the way to the other pommel, backwards. Flare. Nice leg work combinations. Good extension. Very nice form. Phil is just excellent on this event. Down to the end. Nice loop off. Good exercise for Phil Cahoy. He's pleased with that.
And well, he should be. I think he might have gained some ground here. Billy Paul's going to have his work cut out for him to try to outdo that routine.
You take it over into the horse. Push on.
Here he is again, showing the leg sequence. Good scissor undercuts, flares. This is a reverse scissor right here. Look at the nice form that Phil has. Legs are straight, toes are pointed. Good extension, good lift. Swings through, picks up back into his circles. Travels all the way out to the end of the horse, and a high flare loop off. Very nice, Phil Cahoy.
9.7 was the score Phil received for that performance. I should add that we have also put a microphone not just on Bella Caroli, but also on Francis Allen. So you heard a little bit of exchange there right after Phil dismounted. Now we're ready for Billy Paul's performance on the pommel horse. He's bringing in a 9.6 from the floor exercise to this event. There's an interesting graphic, 9-3 in the first round. Let's see if he can better that now in the semifinals.
Once again, Leandra, this is a real important exercise for Billy because he needs to stay up there with Phil. 2 pommel circles, travels down to the end of the horse, in his back hop in, travels down to the end. Flare movement from the end to the center. There's his scissors. Now showing a reverse scissor. You have to do both kinds. Back into circles. Travels down to the end without the pommel. Kind of a hesitation up to the flare handstand and dismount. Good exercise for Billy Paul. The only problem he had right at the end, a little bit hesitation. But other than that, I think you're going to find he's going to get a pretty good score. You get a chance to see a bit of a close-up here through the scissor movement. You're continually lifting your hands up, putting them back and down, making sure that you have a good grip. That's always a potential problem. Travels down. Notice how he didn't use the pommel. Travels to the end of the horse. Here's where he got in a little bit of trouble. He was kind of slow there. He bumped his leg on the horse, has to press that up. Pushes out through the handstand and off. Billy Paul.
And this competition is still very close, 9.45. Remember, Phil Cahoy received a 9.70, but there was a tenth difference between those two coming into this event. So Phil Cahoy has taken a slight lead, not much at all. Let's go back to the women's competition now. It's Beth Pope against Juliann Brumbaugh. The second event for the women, the uneven parallel bars. Our first competitor will be Juliann Brumbaugh. She's such a determined-looking little thing. She's such a pixie. You should see her standing next to Phil Cahoy. She's half his size,
Yes.
that much. In the first round, on the uneven parallel bars, that was the quarterfinals. 9.40 was her score, and that tells us she's got quite a set.
Juliann's very good on this event. And it's interesting because she has a lot of room to swing because the bars are far apart for her. Moves well to the top bar, front hip circle, cast up. Stalled her hop, stalled her right to a front somersault catch. Real nice. Half turn, grabs, double leg shoot through, grabs the high bar, get to the top. Toe on, front with a half dismount. Nice exercise for Juliann Brumbaugh.
Very nice, and she's very happy about it. Bella Caroli coming over to adjust the bars. He is not her coach. He's adjusting the bars for the next gymnast. She's talking to her coach, and unfortunately, we do not have him mic'd. Let's take another look.
Here's her stalder hop, another stalder, and watch the front somersault. Reaches between her legs, grabs the bar, drops right to the low bar. Very nice combination, half turn. There's a double leg shoot through between her hands, grabs the top bar. Very nice. Here's her hop again. Here's that somersault from another angle. Really a neat part. Half turn. Double leg shoot through. Between her hands, now she grabs the high bar. Long hang kip, front hip circle. Puts her feet on the bar, toe on, front with a half, and a good landing up to the top. Good exercise, Juliann Brumbaugh.
9.45, so she did just a little bit better this time than she performed in the quarterfinals. The tough thing about the uneven parallel bars, those moves are so flying and connecting that if you miss one move, it really almost destroys the entire set.
Be careful on
Yeah, that's true, Leandra. The other thing, too, is most of the time, each preceding skill is setting you up for the next skill. So you have to make sure you do it the right way. Otherwise, there's no way you can go on and complete your exercise.
Okay, Beth Pope's score in the first round is 9.20. So if we were just to look at two scores, even though they were not against each other in the first round, it was 9-4 to 9-2 in the first round. But of course, this is a different day and a different set of circumstances, so we'll see if she can score
I
better.
did a good job.
That's Bella Caroli, making sure that the bars are chalked and banded just right.
Beth is checking the bars right now to make sure they are properly chalked because grip is everything in this particular event. She will probably re-chalk, and just there she goes.
And it's worth it to take the extra minute to make sure that that grip is just right, because if there's too much chalk kicked down the rails, you lose your grip. It's too slick up there, and
Be
that was
careful.
destroying a set.
Be careful, Leon.
At any rate,
Not too high cast.
Be careful not to high cast. Words from Bella Caroli to Beth Pope before she performs. So watch for a careful and a not too high casting performance.
Here's her mount. Half turn kip, front hip circle. Cast up, free hip. Immediate shoot right to the high bar. Kip catch the high bar. Kip up. Her feet on the bar. Half turn, shoot over the low bar. Double leg shoot through. Long hang kip. Cast up. Free hip circle to the handstand. Giant swing right back through the handstand. Giant swing, another right to the handstand. Put her feet on. Front somersault, half twist. Very nice exercise for Beth Pope.
Okay.
Very good. I think she outdid her 9-2 performance from yesterday.
No, that was good. All right, good job. That's you wrong. Huh? Yes. A little bit. A little bit better. Yeah.
She may have a little bit of a rip there. Here's the free hip, reach under, between, and grab the high bar. Drop down. Kip, catch. Puts her feet over the low bar. Kips up. She puts her feet on the bar now toward the end of her set. Pushes off front flip, half turn. Nice landing and right back up to the top. Good finish. Real nice exercise for Beth Pope.
9.4, the score for Beth Pope. Juliann Brumbaugh defeating her in this event, but only by 0.05 of a point. So these two ladies are still very close, 0.2 apart. We'll be back with more gymnastics. The ladies still have 2 events remaining, while the men still have 4. Rings coming up next. Billy Paul versus Phil Cahoy. Going into the first event, or rather into the second event, Billy Paul had a 1/10 advantage. Now he is down by 0.15. So Phil Cahoy, the man you're looking at right now, is the man who is in the lead. But not exactly what I would call a comfortable margin. 0.15 can change any time.
That's right, Leandra. And also, this event's a critical event for both Billy and Phil. Not that either of them have a weak event, but I suppose if you did say that they did have a weak event, it's probably the still rings. They're exceptionally strong on all of the other events, and the still rings is probably the only event that they're a little bit questionable on. Once again, Phil is taking some time to make sure that he has a good grip. Look at the size of the grips that he uses in order to help him hang on. They're made out of leather, and they normally have a wooden dowel in them that goes around the point where they grasp the rings in order to assist them in their grip. Being stilled by Coach Francis Allen, coach at the University of Nebraska.
What a success story that man is.
Well, most definitely. Phil starts, dislocates straight arm, shoot up to the handstand. Bails out, back giant, right up to the handstand, nice and smooth. Bails out, giant front uprise to a V. It's a very difficult position to hold on the rings. Swings, there's a whip it right to an L, which is very hard to do. Presses up straight arms to a handstand. Bail out. Giant dislocate. Full twisting double back. Stuck. Real nice exercise for Phil Cahoy. He's got to be happy with that. He really maxed that exercise out. He did everything the way it was supposed to be done. We get a chance to see Phil from the L position right here, proceeding into a press movement. One of the requirements on rings, you have to move into a handstand showing strength. You also have to move into a handstand by swinging. He pushes the rings away, just like on the horizontal bar, does a big giant swing, and watch this. A full twisting double back somersault right to a perfect landing. Phil Cahoy, University of Nebraska.
Great performance. When you're as tall as Phil is, he's about 5'11", it's a little harder to perform on the rings to hold them steadier as opposed to, let's say, a shorter gymnast.
It's possible, Leandra, that Phil perhaps doesn't have as good a strength-weight ratio that some people might. He's putting his grips back together here, but at the same time, he's extremely strong. And he has no problem maintaining the positions and the strength parts that he needs to on the still rings or any other event for that matter. Excellent routine by Phil.
It's such a leverage sport, and it seems harder when you have a longer leverage. There's his score, 9.45, as Billy Paul gets ready to perform. 9.35 was his score earlier in the quarterfinals. So he'll need every bit of that 9.35 to stay in the running against Phil Cahoy.
Billy Paul being lifted up by Coach Hal Fry at the University of California at Berkeley. Billy pulls up to an inverted hang, kips up, presses right to a straddle planche. Very difficult strength part. Shoots around to a straddle L support.
That's
very unique. Yes, it is. It's a new part. It's been done just for a few years. Seen more popular in European events.
That is a move you did not do in the finals either.
Giant swing back to a handstand. Swinging just a little bit, lowers down to an L cross. Showing good strength. Kips up. Got a little swing, but nothing he can't handle. Presses up to a handstand, showing strength in the handstand movement. Bails out. Big giant dislocate, full twisting double back, and again, a very nice landing. See, they're going right after each other. It's going to be a real tight event.
This is a battle, if I ever heard of that. Oh, my goodness. Billy Paul not yielding anything to Phil Cahoy, even though Cahoy came up with a 9.45. Okay, Phil Cahoy is on the left side of the screen, Billy Paul on the right. Let's take another look.
Here is Phil's press to handstand with straddle legs and straight arms, bails out. Big high dislocate, pushing the rings away. Here's his full twisting double back, looking for the ground, puts it right in there. great dismount by Phil Cahoy. And now, Billy Paul, a hollow back press to handstand. A different type of press, keeps his body straight and bends his arms. He's in his handstand now, preparing for his dismount. Pushes the rings away in preparation for his bail. Nice high giant dislocate. Here's his full twisting double back. Nice and smooth. Lands a little bit low, but gets up real quick. Two excellent dismounts, two great routines.
And now things are so close between these two competitors. Billy Paul just scored a 9.55. So this race is too close to call, folks. We still have some more competition coming up here in Reno, Nevada. Don't go away. Men's vaulting yet to come. 5 to 9.25 advantage Pope. In the second event, which was the uneven parallel bars, 9.4 to 9.45. So our totals are less than, just fractions apart, 1890 to 1870, 2/10 of 1 point separate these two events remaining. In the men's competition, things are even closer. Floor exercise, Billy Paul, 9.6, Phil Cahoy, 9.5. Pommel horse, Billy Paul, 9.45, but Phil Cahoy scored a 9.70, so he took the lead. On the still rings, it was Phil Cahoy, 9.45, but Billy Paul came back with a 9.55. Our totals, 28.65 to 28.60. 0.05 of a point separate these two, and you can't get any closer than that. We're ready now for our fourth event in the men's competition. It is the vault. And in men's competition, they are allowed to execute one vault only. So Billy Paul will be our first vaulter. As the horse has been turned lengthwise for the men's competition, he has been given the green flag. Mike?
Once again, Leandra, as we move through the competition, every event becomes more critical.
In the first round, Billy Paul received a 9.15 for his vault.
Here's his jump, turn run, handspring pike front. Nice jump.
The kid's tough, what can I say? 9.15 was the score he received in earlier competition. Of course, this is a different day, a different time, a different set of circumstances. So that score is just something to
We get a chance to see this again from the side. Goes up very hard. Good high handspring. Piked, 1.5 off of the hands. One big step forward. And that's all that was wrong with it. Good jump for Billy Paul.
And his score is 9.50. Performed better this time around than he did in the first round. Phil Cahoy received a 9.6 in the first round. Do you wish the men would do two vaults, or do you like the one vault concept?
To be honest with you, I like a one vault, simply because it's one shot, one chance, and that's the way it should be.
Typical male.
Pike Sukahara with a full twist, Bill Cahoy. Good jump. And again, I think you're going to see a very comparable score to what Phil got the other day.
Or 9.6 in the first round. 9.5 is the score that he wants to beat. He needs a 9.45.
I'm beginning to like it. I told him I didn't like it going around like that, but now I'm beginning to like it.
Comments from Coach Francis Allen. Let's take another look at Phil's vault.
Phil has really improved his vaulting. Good hard push-off, nice straight legs, body's in a nice twisting position, looking for the ground, pulls his feet underneath. Good landing, one step back. Phil Cahoy, pike full twisting Sukahara.
And Phil's score is 9.55, so by 0.05 of a point, he has defeated Billy Paul in this event. That means the gap is now 0.10. In the women's competition, it is Beth Pope against Juliann Brumbaugh, 0.2 of a point the difference here. Balance beam is the third event for the women. Beth Pope will compete first.
As usual, Leandra, we come to the balance beam, a very critical event.
9.35 her first round score.
Which is a good score for a beam exercise. You get a chance to see a split handstand, stag handstand. She's doing some hand pirouettes. Steps down, back handspring. A little bit off, but she puts it back on very quickly. Leap. Beth is a very nice dancer, showing good expression, good poise. It's always good to point out that that beam is less than 4 inches wide, and it's about 4 feet off the ground. Full turn. And it's amazing the things that the girls do on the beam. running front somersault in a fall. That's going to be very costly. Leandra, anytime the center of gravity gets away from the center line of the beam, you end up on the ground.
Let's see how she can regain her composure here for continued routine.
That was a one-arm back handspring. Back walkover, lay-out back somersault step up. Very nice. Nice and smooth, good landing. But she still had that fall, which is going to cost her about half a point. And a gainer full twisting back somersault. Very different dismount, different than most of the other girls do. You can tell Beth is just a little bit upset.
Nothing. Okay, no problem. Yeah, you should stay. You should stay. It's not that bad, you know, landing.
No, I don't.
You just lost your confidence on the standing. You started, you know, to shake a little bit over there. Okay, but you should stay. All right. All right. No, all right. All right. All right can be, okay?
Bella Caroli commenting to Beth Pope. Let's take another look at her performance before you said the center of gravity got a little off.
She does her front somersault. Let's watch her feet. She looks like she was fine, but it looked like she landed awfully low. Her right knee then went to the outside and caused her to lose her balance on that side and fall. Here's her dismount. She runs forward, does a gainer back somersault with a full twist. She's got to miss that beam. She's got to put it on her feet, and she did. Nice job for Beth Pope.
8.95. Oh, that fall was costly. Remember, she scored in the 9s in the earlier round competition. That fall really took its toll on her mark. And now we're back to our next performer, who is Juliann Brumbaugh, who mounts with a headstand.
And a little spin turn there.
Incidentally, she received an 8.8 in the first round.
That was a back extension roll. Now it would be interesting to see if the swing through, lay out that step out. Very nice. Very difficult. Be interesting to see if Juliann does have an advantage here because she is a little bit smaller and perhaps she's got a little bit more room on that beam than someone who is taller than she is. She looks very comfortable up there so far, moving well through her exercise. It's a side aerial, or it's a cartwheel without your hands. Oops. I don't think that was an accident. Preparing for a tumbling pass. Back handspring, back handspring. Nice and smooth, right on the beam. Back handspring to a headstand position. Rolls out. She's doing a very nice job so far, nice and smooth. Preparing for a dismount. Round off, double back somersault. Looked like she put her hands down a little bit. That'll cost her a few tenths. The question is, did she need to? It's hard to tell.
It was a lower landing, so it's... Yeah, I think she's a little upset about the way it ended there, but it was a nice clean side routine. Let's take another look.
That's the side aerial. She was right on. Absolutely no problem. Very neat. Really cute.
She can get away with it.
Yes, she can. We get a chance to see the dismount here. Round off, both feet on the beam, pulls the double back around, and she lands a little bit short. Now that'll cost her maybe 3 or 4 tenths of a point.
Well, she did touch. Remember, Beth Pope received an 8.95, but she fell. Beth Pope also has 0.2 of 1 point lead, and I think Juliann has just closed the gap a little bit. Her score, 9.00, only 0.05 of a point better than Beth Pope, so Juliann Brumbaugh has gained a little ground on Beth Pope. We'll be back with more gymnastics competition here in Reno, Nevada. Stay with us.
Why do
1/10 of a point separating the two, with the advantage going to Phil Cahoy. Our first competitor in this event will be Billy Paul.
Leandra, Billy's going to have his work cut out for him on the next 2 events, simply because Phil is excellent on these 2 events.
9.45 was the score Billy received when he competed in this event in the first round.
He mounts with a peach hand. There's a Diamond off, almost off to the side, a Straley.
Very solid performance.
Stütz to handstand. Wait, front uprise. Front 1 1/4. Very nice. A reverse straddle. Back up to the handstand. Good sequence by Billy Paul. Swings through double back somersault. Good landing. Good exercise for Billy Paul. That's going to really help.
A little crooked on that one Diamondov, I believe, but other than that, very good performance.
I think we may have had a better chance to see how crooked he was as compared to the judges because we were right on the end.
That's true. We're at the end of the rails, and the judges are sideways. You're right. They may not have seen that.
Here's the front 1 1/4. Straddles the bars. Misses. His legs, as he is supposed to. Straddles back. Reaches between. Grabs the bars. Pushes up to a handstand. Nice and smooth. And kind of a different part. Prepares now for his dismount, swings through. Good hard tuck, double back somersault, stands up real quick, double back dismount, Billy Paul.
9.6, the score the judges gave to Billy Paul for his parallel bar performance.
Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the previous record with the single running.
Phil Cahoy received a 9.6 in the first round on this event.
No problem.
So if he can get a 9.6 this time around, he'll maintain his lead, which right now is only .10. And there you see another graphic, 5th all-around in the 1982 NCAAs. He's part of the Nebraska dynasty in men's gymnastics. 9.6, the score he wants to beat, and of course, as evidenced by his score in the early rounds, he has the abilities to do that.
Phil has won most major national events on the parallel bars, one time or another. He's got a real unique mount. It's very interesting. He's the only one I know that does have a back seat circle, a back hip, right up to a V, presses through straight legs on 1 bar to a handstand. Now this is where he really gets tough. Diamondov to 1 bar, half turn in, great move. Stütz to handstand, perfect. Back toss right to the handstand, drops down, cast, back up rise, front somersault, swings right up to the handstand, pirouette, swing down, Stütz hand, lay with front up rise, front off 1 1/2 twist, beautiful exercise, Phil Cahoy, University of Nebraska, great set, and he's happy about it.
Yes, he is. Let's see if he talks with his coach at all about it.
Nice one, Philip.
Really got it back.
And we heard his coach say, nice one, fella. Billy Paul congratulating him. Crowd liked that one.
Thank you.
Here's the Diamondov right to 1 bar and turns back in. Very nice. Layaway, front uprights. Look at the extension. High, front, somersault, 1 1/2 twist. Looking for the ground, finish it. Super exercise for Phil Cahoy.
Nice one, fella. That's an understatement by Francis Allen. You saw the score, 9.85, establishing a new single elimination record.
Well, Leandra, Francis is probably used to that.
A gal from their federation said that...
I think he's talking about other
American guy
gymnastics
there.
issues.
There was,
So 9.85, outstanding performance. Now Billy Paul is down by 0.285 in this event alone after the 10th he lost before. All right, floor exercise is our next event. The women are ready to compete. Beth Pope against Juliann Brumbaugh. 0.15 difference between these two competitors.
And our first competitor, our defending champion, Beth Pope.
Beth Pope is getting ready to begin her routine. The judges have given her the green flag. 9-4, the score she received in the first round of competition.
Normally, Leandra, this is one of the events that the girls like the best because it allows them the most expression and do what they want. A lot of creativity here.
Remember, 0.15 is all that separates her from Juliann Brumbaugh. She needs to hit.
Rana flip-flop, high tuck double back, very well done. Has perhaps some shades of Romanian folk music. Handspring 1 1/2 twisting front somersault, flip-flop, full twisting back somersault. I think Bella selected this music. Now a change of pace.
Improbable.
Perhaps if it was covered up very well. Next tumbling pass, round off flip-flop, double twisting back somersault. Beth Pope, nice exercise, Leandra, putting the pressure on Juliann Brumbaugh.
Bella Caroli's definitely having an influence on her as she walks over to her coach at the corner of the floor.
All right. Good double back. Double back fine. All right. Good.
He said it was a good routine. He liked her double back, and I'm sure the judges did as well. Let's take another look at her tumbling.
Good hard run, handspring, 1.5 twists around the body line with the front somersault. Picks right up, flip-flop or back handspring, flip-flop, and a full twisting back somersault. Good form, legs together, toes pointed, up, nice finish, Beth Pope. We get a chance to see the last pass, round off, flip-flop, double twisting back somersault. Good landing, good finish.
And that's what Bella Caroli liked, and so did the judges. They gave her a 9.60 for that performance. And that certainly puts the pressure on Juliann Brumbaugh. She must score a 9.75 if she is to tie Beth Pope in this competition.
I think we're going to see a little bit lighter exercise from Juliann. There's her first tumbling pass. Good hard run. Round off, flip-flop, hike, double back somersault. And she was very short on that. I think, Leandra, that probably cost her the event. Front step out, round off, flip-flop, full twisting back somersault. Good dance expression, good tumbler, just had a little bit of a problem in the first pass. Last tumbling pass, round off flip-flop, double twisting back somersault, good finish for Juliann. Good exercise, Leandra. It's really too bad she had that unfortunate landing in that first skill.
She had to come back with cutesy and smiles, and you could tell when she fell on that first tumbling pass, she wanted to cry. Beth Pope congratulating her because she knows how she feels. That shows how little Juliann Brumbaugh is, and Beth Pope, believe me, is no giant. But here's where it all went out the window.
Round off flip-flop, pike double back. Let's take a look. She's trying to get it as tight as she can, and she is just under-rotated. Gee, that's too bad.
But she came back strong. She had a nice tumbling finish.
Round off flip-flop, double twisting back somersault, puts it on her feet, no problem. Good finish for Juliann Brumbaugh.
Remember, she needed a 9.75 to tie and a 9.8 to win, and Paul, unfortunately, put it out of reach. Her score now is 8.85. Unfortunately for Juliann, one fall made the difference. But it was a good performance. She was very entertaining in this competition. So Beth Pope will advance in the competition. There it is again, 8.85 for Juliann Brumbaugh. We'll be back. The men's competition is far from being determined. Billy Paul and Phil Cahoy still have another event remaining, and we'll recap all the women's scores right after this. High bar, as it is popularly called. Phil Cahoy against Billy Paul. Billy Paul getting ready to mount. He is minus 0.35 to Phil Cahoy. That could change. 0.3 of a point is not insurmountable in one event. 9-1 is the score he received in the first round.
Leandra, this has become such a spectacular event. Is shoot to handstand, half turn. Watch this. A flyaway half turn regrasp. Let's go of the bar, does a somersault, turns around and regrasps the bar. Comes in, that's called a Tkachev out of an endo shoot. Really interesting. There's a stalder right into a Tkachev or reverse heck. These are inverted giants. Hops out half turn. Get ready for this dismount. Watch it carefully. 1, 2, 3, triple back somersault,
Oh.
Billy Paul.
What a routine that was. And that, too, was a little bit different than what he did in the quarterfinals. So he's a little storehouse of skills.
Here's the flyaway half-turn regrasp. Changes his grip, comes up, pirouettes. And watch this, comes into a stalder, right into a Takachev, a real interesting part, whether it's a back hack or reverse hack. And now we get a chance to look at the dismount.
The crowd's
Speeds up
there.
his giant swings. Real hard, lifts up. There's one. Pulling the somersault around. Look how high he is. There's two. Pulling it, looking for the ground, puts his feet underneath him. There's three. Triple back and just a little step. Great job. Coach Hal 5, please, too.
9.65, which means Phil Cahoy needs a 9.25 to tie, a 9.3 to defeat Billy Paul in this event. 9.3 is what Phil Cahoy has to have if he's to win the all-around competition. That's the best score Phil Cahoy has had this day. He's had 3 9.6s, I should point out, receiving a high bar 9.6, a parallel bar 9.6, and a Florex 9.6. Now, look at that. 9.75 is what Phil Cahoy received in the earlier round, so all he needs is a 9.3. Unless he falls, I'd have to say this competition probably will go Phil's way.
Leandra, Phil is a great high bar performer, one of the premier high bar performers in the world. He's won many, many titles, including NCAA and USGF National High Bar Championships.
Is he aware that he needs a 9.3, do you think?
He's just concerned about hitting his exercise. Stem stalder. Just watch the things he does. Watch this one-arm sequence, a full twisting one-arm giant swing right into a stalder. Spreads his hands a little bit. Here he goes. Stoops through his legs. Inverted giants. Watch this. Right out of the inverted, high front somersault. Beautifully done. Flying kip. Right into a stalder. Turns out. Another stalder. He still isn't finished yet. Preparing for his dismount. Giant. Giant. Speeding him up. Full twisting, double back somersault, stuck landing, Phil Cahoy. Beautiful exercise.
And with that landing, I believe he sealed the all-around title in this semifinal competition between himself and Billy Paul.
job, Chris.
What a performance.
It's, of course, a shame that two fine
I think we heard
competitors
Francis
like
Allen
this
saying,
get to a
good job.
single-round championship to find that one
You didn't hurt your hemorrhoid.
Okay, let's take another look at Phil Cahoy's performance.
Get a chance to see how he's hanging on. And there's a release. He's got to grab that bar again. Shoots out half turn. Look at the movement of the bar and his grips. There's a stalder. Comes through. Preparing for the dismount. Speeding up the giant swings. Good stretch. Good elevation. There it is. Full twist. Back somersault out. Good landing. Look, there he goes. Phil Cahoy. Great exercise. Great day for Phil. All events.
Well, all he needed was a 9.3. There you see the score that he received, 9.7, just nudging Billy Paul out of the high bar title, 9.7 to 9.6. We'll be back to recap all of the scores and all of the action right after this commercial message. Total to Juliann Brumbaugh's 36.55. So Beth Pope will advance in the women's competition. On the men's side, Billy Paul was impressive, only losing by .45, but he was tough, winning 2 events. 57.30 for Billy Paul. Phil Cahoy going into the finals with a 57.75. Mike Jackie, let's talk about the men a little bit. Oh, they were tough.
Yes, Billy Paul is very impressive.
Maloney, Mike Jackie is going to be one of the outstanding performers in this meet. What can you tell us about the men's showdown?
Well, in the men's showdown, we've got Stacy Maloney, who did an outstanding job in the preliminary round against Scott Johnson. It is going to be a tough